Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dorothy Marie, and this channel is called Peace with Dorothy Marie. Thank you for joining me. Today's video is about living incongruent to your values. Another way to say that is living out of alignment with your values. And I think this is something that we all do at one time or another. It's something that hampers our progress in different areas of our lives. Goal achievement, maintaining peace, maintaining well-being. So if you can identify this thing and set it right, then you can be on a path to living with more peace. And so that's what I want to share today. But not only do I just want to kind of define what this is, but I also want to give some actionable steps, some practical ways that you can go about fixing this or rectifying this if you find that, hey, perhaps I am living incongruent with my values. How can I make it right? Living incongruent or out of alignment with your values it can be really frustrating, but we might not always know that it is happening. Basically, you may not have very clearly defined values, and because of that, the things that you're saying that you want, or the things that you're trying to go after, the things that you're trying to achieve, you're having a hard time achieving them, because while you're stating that you want these things, the actual actions that you're taking in everyday life and probably habitually are actually not lining up with those stated desires. So that's where the out of alignment is happening, or that's where the incongruence is. But you don't have to live that way, right? There's a way to not experience those sorts of frustrations. And so it really comes down to, what are your values? So when we know what our values are, we're resolute by them, and then we monitor our actions, evaluate the things that we do. We're honest with ourselves, and we acknowledge when our choices are truly not aligning with those values, and we choose to stop those ways, to reel it in and choose to behave differently, which is in fact going to bring us in alignment with what we want. Let's talk more about that. What are some ways that could be demonstrated, or what are some of the ways that plays out in someone's life? That is probably just going to be really easy for me to explain this in a dating context. You could be really frustrated that you are not having any good luck with dating. You're having terrible, frustrating experiences with people who, just aren't treating you well. And you know how dating is. It's pretty ghetto these days. So say we are dating someone, we've been on 2 dates with them, we really like this person, we think that we have basically all the things in common, and we want to keep talking to this person. However, the core frustration that we're experiencing is that this person is a very inconsistent communicator. And honestly, although everything else seems good, this is the one thing, the one area that's really bothering you. Inconsistent communication, that's a signal that experience or what you're going through is misaligned with what's important to you. The building blocks of trust are consistency and communication. So instead of sweeping that under the rug and saying, this person is great, they've got it 80% right, and this 20% thing, I'm just gonna act like it doesn't matter, I'm not gonna harp on it, I'm not gonna mention it. Instead of doing that, truly living in alignment with your values would mean acknowledging that as a person, you value consistent communication. You say to that person, hey, this is a deal breaker for me. This is something that's bothersome to me. If that person accepts it and would like to change their behavior and become more consistent, great. But if that person makes no change in their behavior, you have to be resolute about that value that you hold. Say, this situation, this person doesn't align with this value, and be willing to let it go. And that is an example of aligning yourself with the values, aligning your actions with the values that matter most to you. The thing is, the quicker that you can remove yourself from these frustrating situations that ultimately are not best fits for you, the more quickly you can move on to situations and opportunity, experiences, people, and friendships that are meant for you. So another value across the board, people will say that they value honesty. But could you possibly be living out of alignment and incongruent to that core value, even though you're expressing and you're stating that that is one of the most important things to you. That's absolutely possible. And so here's an example of that. Say you are dating, once again, and honesty is something that's very important to you, and you expect the other person in this dating relationship or in this dating experience to be honest with you about, topics that you cover, things that you discuss and disclose with each other. You want that person to be honest, and you feel that you're honest with that person in return. But for instance, what if you, in your work relationships or the relationship that you have with family members, you're constantly telling little white lies, easily and readily lying in one area of your life, but expecting honesty from people in another area of your life? That's an example of being incongruent with your stated values. Your holistic life is impacting your well-being and your peace. You might recognize that you have a lot of frustration in your life for one reason or another. This is one area of your life that you should evaluate. Are the frustrations in my life, are they happening because I'm living out of alignment with my values? Are they happening because maybe I'm just not sure what my core values are? That's really the solution, and that's the actionable practical tip that I have for you. Bring out your journal and write down what your core values are. You'll know what your core values are because they're the things that make you feel safe. They're the qualities that make you feel secure, and they're also qualities that when they are in action in your life, they also make you feel free. They make you feel liberated and expansive. They fill up your cup. They do something to add to your life, and they don't detract from your life. Those would be your core values. Now, as an example, some of my core values are, creativity. Creativity is one of my core values. When I'm outside of that core value, when I'm not creating, when I'm consuming more than I'm creating, it creates a level of frustration in my life. It detracts from my peace. And that's a signal to me that when I am creating, I am in alignment with my core values, and it brings peace to my life. Another core value that I have is family. Family is extremely important to most of us. I think we will all say that, but how is that actual core value being demonstrated in our lives? Are we calling our cousins? Are we calling our mom? Are we, picking up the phone first, or are we answering when someone calls? That's a great way to demonstrate that actual core value. So anyways, write a list of what your core values are. I don't know. Maybe it's easy, maybe it's hard, but aim for a list of 20 core values. Then, when you're in moments of frustration, you reflect or maybe journal, why was that frustrating to me? And compare the frustration that you're experiencing with your list of core values. Does this frustration point to some of the core values or the lack of core values in this experience? And how does your behavior and your everyday actions align with that frustration? Have you contributed to this frustration because your actions have not matched up with the values that you state that you have? This is a process that can really touch every single part of your life. Take it in small steps. Start at work, maybe start with friendships, start with dating, and put this process into action and see that incrementally you'll have more peace in these areas of your life. I hope this was helpful content for you. I hope this was actionable for you. If you have any questions or if you want to contribute to the conversation about this, I would really enjoy that. Leave a comment below, like this video, and consider subscribing. Once again, this channel is called Peace with Dorothy Marie, and really I'm just talking about the things that bring me peace and the things that I've noticed contribute to the well-being in my own life. And I feel like that's a really powerful and valuable thing to share. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.